Hello friends, you are all students of engineering and technology. You are the backbone of the country in terms of its growth, development, expansion. You are the future of the country. You are to enter a world which is continuously changing. Do you know what is happening in that world? Let's visit that world. The world of industry, the world of market, the world of technology. Let's see what is happening, what changes are coming in that scenario, what are the expectations of that world, what are the specifications required for it, how you are to prepare for yourself for that world. If you are to succeed, you have to change, you have to develop competencies, both hard and soft. For knowing all these things, we have to visit that world. Let's visit that world. As you know, with the globalization and privatization and liberalization of economy, many changes have come in the world. These changes are in terms of new institutions, new organizations, new industries, new products, new economic policies, new technological policies. All these are coming with the change of globalization, privatization and liberalization. Technology is changing very fast. Competition is very stiff. Availability of high products at reduced prices is there. Market has turned into a buyer's market. Availability of many products, models, customer is a king. Offers of freebies, gifts, discounts and easy finance are available for you to buy the things. New and improved products entering the market at a very fast rate. Lead times for the products are becoming very small. Product life cycles are very small. Price of products is set in the market. Prices of input resources are going up. Bigger companies demanding a price cut from its suppliers every year. Small volumes of each type of to be supplied. Exponential growth of service sector. There is a demand for knowledge worker. This is the scenario of the world in terms of industry and market. Let's see the digital world. What was happening yesterday, now there is total change. What was happening in the past, the scenario today is totally different. We started with telecommunications, audio tapes, video tapes, simulations, email, web projects, problem solving, multimedia, CNC. Now what is available is mobile access, laptops, one-to-one access, GIS, GPS systems, instant messaging, wikis, blogs, MUVEs, cell phones, virtual world is becoming a reality, robotics. Question now arises, are we ready for this change? Have we prepared ourselves for this change? The answers of this can be only two. If no, then we are going to be obsolete very soon. Survival will be at stake and we are going to perish. Because this change is going to come. Nobody can stop this change. We have to participate in this change. The only answer to this question is yes. But if it is yes, how we are to prepare ourselves for it? Either we adapt or we innovate. So creativity and innovation are the backbone of any individual's growth, organization's growth, country's growth, or the global environment. Without innovation and creativity in today's scenario, nobody can survive. The question now is either we innovate or we die. If this is the situation, we have to prepare ourselves in terms of being creative and innovative. The topic I am going to discuss today is creativity and innovation. If we are to lead the world, if we are to hold the world in our hand, we have to be innovative and creative. Let me give you the outline of my presentation. I am going to deal my presentation in 5 major steps. Concept of innovation and creativity. creativity need of creativity and innovation in education, especially technical education. Creativity process, barriers to creativity, including individuals' creativity potential. Let's come to the first point, concept of creativity. What do you feel is creativity? It's just association of existing elements. It's just new ideas. It's change in existing processes. It's new thinking, new doing. The only crust is it should be original. As I have explained in this, creativity is the process of bringing new idea into being. A way of thinking and doing that brings unexpected and original ideas to fruition. This is a simple concept. Whatever we do, whatever we change in today's scenario and bring the original one, maybe change, addition of something available, some addition leading to new product, new idea, new process. This is creativity. What is innovation? Innovation is the ability to apply creative solutions to problems and opportunities to enhance or to enrich people's lives. Without innovation, we cannot survive. There is a need for innovation at every level. We need new products, we need new processes. Unless we go for innovation, we cannot do it. Innovation is a process of taking new ideas to satisfy customers. It is the conversion of new knowledge into new products and services. In a nutshell, we can say creativity is thinking new things and innovation is doing new things. In terms of creativity, you are thinking something new, but innovation, you are making it practical. It is generally said that without innovation, new products, new services and new ways of doing business would never emerge. And most of our organizations would be forever stuck doing the same old things the same old way. Summarizing, I can always say this thing. Basically, innovation is consisting of 3 C's. First C is creativity. Second C is consistency for perspiration. And third C is commercialization. So you can say innovation is commercialization of your creativity. A model has been displayed to indicate the process of innovation. In this model, it is very clear the basic or the prime importance in innovation is the generation of good idea. It is very clear in the model that many ideas are being produced, and out of those ideas, we are going to develop new product or new processes based on some good idea. All good ideas may not be good, but the crust is you have to develop good ideas. Linus Pauling, a 2-time Nobel laureate, had once said, the best way to have a good idea is to have lots of them. Unless you have lots of ideas, you cannot have the innovation, because some of the ideas may not be feasible at all. Some of the ideas may not be relevant at all. Some of the ideas may not be practical at all. So, taking into consideration those ideas, we have to find the best one which is practical, which is implementable, which is feasible. Before going ahead, I would like to give you an assignment. This is an assignment of 1 minute. Can you write down as many uses of a paper cup as you can? This is 1 minute assignment. I am asking you to write it. I am starting my time now. Your time is up. How many ideas you could generate? Let me ask you, how many ideas you could generate?
4, 5.
5. How many?
4.
4. How many?
4. 4.
How many you could do?
4.
Let me tell you, the creative persons generates an idea to a range of 10 to 15. Our creativity level is low because this is a system in which we are grooming. Whenever a child asks a question, we stop him from asking the question. From the very beginning, our creativity is killed. The first point of creativity is to generate as many ideas as is possible. So, may I ask you what alternatives you have written, or what are the uses of the paper mug?
First one for handling the stationery, for drinking the water, for containing ice cubes, and for handling the crafts in home appearance. And the fifth one is for handling something, small things like shirts, buttons, and many things more.
Okay. Let me ask you a simple question here again. What is the basic use of this paper cup? For drinking something?
Drinking.
For putting some liquid? Am I right?
Yes, yes.
The other uses which you are trying to reflect is a divergent thinking, which is very, very important for any creative person. Let me show you this. This creativity process is divided into basically 2 parts. Fluency. First part is fluency. Fluency is the number of ideas. How many number of ideas you have generated. These all ideas may be based on the original concept or application. Original concept or application is used for drinking, used for putting some liquid. These maybe you may say this is used for drinking water, maybe used for drinking milk, something like that. These ideas are basically based on logic. This part is called the fluency. But the other part, this can also be used for candle making as a mold. This part which is not based on logic, which is not based on the original concept or application, these ideas are basically based on analogy, similarities with other things. This part is called the flexibility. So creativity has major 2 elements, fluency and flexibility. The more the flexibility, the more the creativity in an individual. Okay? Let me also tell you, basically creativity has 4 elements. Those 4 elements are fluency, flexibility, originality, and social value. I have talked about fluency and flexibility a little bit. I will be talking something more about it in the next slides. But other things are originality and social value. The idea should be original. Maybe addition of 5%, but idea should be original. That is very, very important part of creativity. Idea should be unique. And also another important concept, 4th part of creativity is social value. Think of a man who is making a bomb, of a terrorist making bomb. Is he a creative person? Although in terms of subjective terms, he can be a creative person. He can be better than any person who having PhD in chemistry. He has developed a bomb. But development of bomb is not a social value. Creativity is linked with social value. Unless the work of the individual is linked with social value, we cannot say he is a creative person. So the 4 elements are fluency, flexibility, originality, and social value. This is very, very, very important, social value. Let me explain a little bit more about fluency and flexibility. In psychological terms, these fluency and flexibility are called linear creativity and lateral creativity. Linear creativity is based on logic, your knowledge, your focus, your depth of knowledge, your skills, your hard work, your experience in the area, the growth in the area, expansion in that area. These are the base on which linear creativity is established or fluency is established. But there is other part of the story, that is flexibility. Flexibility is thinking out of box. As you have given many ideas which were out of box, which are not part of the traditional application of that paper mug. Lateral creativity consists of breadth, innovation, uniqueness. This is based on analogies. This is based on non-logic. You can say one thing about linear creativity is just digging the hole deeper. You are having a hole, you are trying to dig it deeper and deeper. You are going into the depth of the topic. You are going into a depth of the area. But lateral creativity is digging another hole. Instead of going deeper into the area, you are trying to have some alternative by digging another hole. This can be also explained in other terms. This is also called divergent and convergent thinking. In divergent thinking, as in flexibility, we are trying to generate many ideas, that too in different directions. Variety of ideas, you can say. And in convergent thinking, we are trying to judge those ideas in terms of their relevance, in terms of their practicability, in terms of their feasibility. And we are trying to focus our decisions based on the relevance, practicability and feasibility. Both of these divergent and convergent thinking are very, very important part of any creative process. Without these two thinking processes, no creativity process is complete. You have to have both of them. Only being divergent cannot make you creative. Only being convergent cannot make you creative. These are two mutually exclusive mental activities which are being taken place in everybody's brain, every individual's brain. The question is how much you are divergent and how much you are convergent. We generally are more convergent. Whenever an idea comes into our mind, we start judging it first, rather than first making a list of ideas and then judging it one by one. We start judging the idea from the very first go and start making our statement, this is right or wrong, from the very first go. That kills our creativity process. Think of these two parts. One are adapters, others are innovators. If we are to survive, definitely we have to be adapters also. We cannot have all the technologies because we are living in India. India is comparatively a developing country. We cannot have breakthrough thinking. We cannot have innovation in every technology. We have to sometimes adopt and then adapt. But if we are to survive in the longer terms, if we are to develop as a developed nation, we have to be innovators. If we are to lead the world, we have to be innovators. What's the difference between adapters and innovators? You can easily see in this slide. Adapters are trying to follow the traditional path. See in this, they are to reach the top of a hill. Adapters are, the path is there. Adapters are just trying to modify that part, this path. But what are innovators doing? They are trying to find the new ways of reaching the cliff. Those may be riding on balloons, seesaw at the bottom, going through the cannon, being hit by the cannon and reaching the top, clinging, parachute. The innovators are adopting different ways of reaching the top. They are not banking upon only one way, that is traditional way. Okay? Let me also give you the biological aspect of the creativity. Do you know that our brain is divided in two parts? Every person is having two brains. We are generally saying these are two brains. One is left brain, other is right brain. Left brain controls your right body movements and right brain controls your left body movements. It is vice versa. Left brain controls your right body movements and right brain controls your left body movements. Left brain is having attributes like it is verbal, it is analytical, it is abstract, it thinks of in terms of two dimensions, it is objective, it is logical, it is rational, it is factual, it is quantitative, but right brain is visual, intuitive, concrete, three-dimensional, subjective, emotional, irrational, intuitive, and qualitative. One of the biggest creators or scientists, great scientists, Einstein, he used maximum brain to an extent of 11%. And what normal human being uses is just 4 to 5%. And that too, the major part is left brain. If we are to become creators, if we are to become innovators, the use of right brain to the maximum possible extent is required. Better is you be ambidextrous, use both of the brains, left brain and right brain. Right brain for divergent thinking, left brain for convergent thinking. Because unless you generate many ideas through your right brain, and those ideas are being judged one by the left brain, no innovation or creativity can take place. So you have to use your brain or whole brain in an ambidextrous fashion, using both parts of the brain as per the need and requirements. Okay? Let me show, because you are some of the students of technology, let me show how our brain works, how information is placed in the mind. When we are logically thinking, the information is stored as it is being shown in this, in the filing cabinet, in a sequential, in a chronological order. But when we are having the intuitive thinking, there is flip-flopping from one side to another. There is leaps from one side to another. Information is being taken from one to then second to first. It is in terms of the leaping or flip-flopping. It is not based on one side chronological order, sequential order. It may be shifting gears from one side to another. Another great person, or the Albert Einstein, you can understand, he has said, the intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. Because most of the time we are using our left brain. We are trying to be logical. We are trying to be analytical. We are trying to be subjective. If we are to survive, if we are to grow, if we are to expand, if we are to develop, if we are to lead the world, definitely the role of right brain is very, very, very important. The thing is, you must know how to use that right brain. What are the skills in using the right brain? If you are able to use your right brain to the fullest extent, it will give you the maximum benefit. You can be the leaders in the world. So, need of the hour is not to have the knowledge, but conversion of knowledge into application. This is very important for any technical student, technical education student, engineering student. He should know how to convert the knowledge into application. Because in engineering students, engineering institutions, we are generally taught and given the knowledge only. We are not taught how to convert the knowledge into application. That's the missing part in our country especially. The need of the hour is, as I have shown, knowing content is not sufficient in itself. Rather, students must apply knowledge to construct new understandings, solve problems, make decisions, develop products, processes, communicate patterns, trends. Technology can facilitate in this type of learning, but technology is only a tool for supplementing your brain. It's not a guide. The guide is your brain. You have to use your brain to the fullest extent, definitely the right brain. What is happening in our traditional learning environments? The traditional learning environments are teacher-directed, memory-focused, isolative work on invented exercises, factual, literal thinking for competence, These are the major parameters what we are taking into our traditional education system in any technical institution. But if we are to develop our system, if we are to grow, we have to change it to student-centered, performance-focused learning, collaborative work on authentic real work projects, creative thinking for innovation and original solutions. We have to train our students in innovation. We have to develop our students. We have to give them inputs so that they become more creative, more innovative. This is the need of the hour. How we can do it? If we are to develop our students, we have to focus on three major things: their expertise, their creativity skills, and their internal motivation. What is their expertise? Their expertise is their knowledge, their skills, their work experiences, their depth of knowledge in that specific discipline. This is their expertise. The creativity skills are developing more and more ideas, implementation of those ideas, problem solving. These must be known to the students. These must be developed in the students. We can develop the two part. We can develop their knowledge. We can also develop the creativity skills. But unless the students have the intrinsic motivation for any development or for any process, for developing any product, for any creative process, for any innovation, nothing can happen. So we have to give them such an environment which leads to their intrinsic motivation for the development of creativity. These are the three more important parameters which we have to take care in our technical institutions. Talking of enhancing how these expertise, creativity skills and intrinsic motivation can be enhanced in students, let me give you a small exercise to know what expertise, creativity skills and intrinsic motivation you are having. Let me give you a 9-dot exercise. This exercise states, can you join 9 equidistant dots by 4 straight lines without picking the pen? Once you have started, you have to continue it. You have not to pick the pen from any point. 9 dots, equidistant dots, and join it with 4 straight lines. Let me show. 9 dots. To join with 4 straight lines without picking the pen.
So 4 straight lines.
4 straight lines.
1, 2, 3 and cross.
You are not to pick your pen. Once you have started, you have to continue with the same. Okay?
मुश्किल है सर पहले भी गिर मैडम ने भी दिया था जी
हाँ दिया होगा.
वन
Okay. I am just going to give you 1 minute. Time is over. Anybody who has done it? Nobody could do it. Let me show you the solution of it. Let's start with this point. Okay?
मैंने कर दिया था
कर दिया?
ऐसे मिलानी नहीं सर ना
नहीं नहीं, this is not right answer.
मिला दे दी
Okay. This is the one. This is the second.
Yes, then.
Who stopped you from going out? Did I say you don't go out? I never said so. This is your block. This is your thinking block. Am I right? Basically, fixing your assumptions is a barrier to creativity.
राइट
42 minutes हो गया.
Okay. This can be done with one line, just one line. Think of a sphere.
राइट
It is a sphere. On the sphere, you just have 9 drops. You start with one line, revolve it. it will be just one line. It will be just one line. The reason you are unable to do it is you are fixing your boundaries.
Yes.
You are having your own assumptions.
फ्राई पैन छोटा पड़ जाता है.
That's the point. I never gave you any limitation. I just get 9 dots, equidistant dots, and join it with 4 straight lines without picking the pen. That's the only point I said. I never said what's the width of the dot. I never fixed any boundary at all. Boundaries were fixed by you only. Fine? So, these are the mental barriers which cause hurdles in the process of creativity in any individual. If we are to be creative, we have to cross these boundaries. We have to remove these barriers. We have to change our mindset. We have to change our thinking process. Now let me talk something about barriers to creativity. Barriers of creativity, these are some of the ones which are social, these can be psychological, these can be organizational. Let me talk of the first barrier, searching for one right answer. From the day one when we join any school, the teacher says, give right answer to this thing. Teacher never says, give any type of answers, give alternative answers. This is never placed in our memory. We always are told, give just one right answer. That is the starting point from which our creativity process starts depleting, I may say. It is explained, most educational systems teach that there is one right answer to a problem. This is a boon to creativity since it acts as a block to brainstorming. Do you know brainstorming is a technique for having more and more number of ideas? The brainstorming technique was given by basically Osborne. Osborne was a scientist who was working in an advertising agency in America. The agency that were given the problems of advertising world. They were solving those problems and giving more and more creative solutions to the problems which are being faced by that agency. He observed whenever a team of experts who were working on the problem, whenever they were given a free environment without any boundaries, they were able to generate more number of solutions, more number of alternatives. But whenever they were being placed in boundaries, whenever there were some limitations were there, they were unable to give more solutions or alternatives. He started recording those sessions. After analysis of those sessions, he gave the technique which is called brainstorming. If you want to divide this word, it gives brainstorm. Storm means there is some storm in your mind, and this storm is number of ideas, number of alternatives, number of solutions. Brainstorming technique says, give as many ideas as possible. You are not to judge those ideas based on their value, based on their feasibility, based on their practicability, based on their relevance. You are not to judge their ideas at all. Anybody can give idea. Just have the number of ideas. Just note down the number of ideas. So if we are just going in for one right answer, we cannot develop the number of ideas. So as I have said, right answer technique, which we generally say, is a boon to creativity. It hinders creativity. Second barrier is focusing on being logical. Being logical is a valuable asset when evaluating ideas and implementing them. However, focusing too much effort on being logical in the early imaginative phases discourages the use of intuition. I have shown you in the previous slide that our brain is having two parts, left and right brain. And I have told you also divergent and convergent thinking. Both of these are required. Divergent and convergent thinking are required. Being logical is required. But at the outset, we have to have a divergent thinking. Lateral thinking. rather than the logical thinking. Because logical thinking works in depth. As I've told you, lateral thinking works in breadth. Initially work in breadth, have variety of ideas, then evaluate them, rather than evaluating the idea from the very first go. If we will evaluate it, it will kill the creativity. Blindly following the rules, oftentimes creativity depends on our ability to break existing rules so we can find new ways of doing things. It is generally said, an organization which is receptive to breaking of rules is more creative. An organization which is bound by rules and regulation and rigid rules and regulation, the process of creativity and innovation depletes in that organization. Same is consistent with an individual. Constantly being practical, suspending practicality for a while frees the mind to consider creative solutions that otherwise might never arise. Some more points on barriers. Viewing play as frivolous. Play is very important. Your relaxed mind is very important for creativity. When you are playing, your mind is relaxed. It is not stressed at all. It is generally said, stressed mind kills creativity. Mind is just like a parachute. It works only when it is open. Mind is open only when it is relaxed. So play, enjoy music, these are very, very important if you want to enhance your creativity. Being overly specialized, especially we engineers, we work in that environment in which we want to be very, very specialized in particular areas of growth. Defining a problem as one area of specialty limits the ability to see how it might be related to other areas. If we are working on one issue and that too in a specialized manner, it kills creativity. Let me tell you one example here. When we are designing buildings, when we are architecturally planning buildings in civil engineering, in addition to experts, we also call laymen to sit in that meeting. Why so? Thought is, sometimes the ideas given by laymen are much better than the ideas given by the experts. Because the specialists only work in depth. Layman may not be specialist in the area, may not be specialist in the discipline. He may give a out-of-box idea, which may be sometimes more important than our specialized ideas. Avoiding ambiguity. Ambiguity encourages us to think something different. Ambiguous solutions force us to stretch our minds beyond our normal boundaries and to consider creative options we might otherwise ignore. Ambiguity is also very important. Fearing looking foolish. Sometimes we don't give the idea or the solution, thinking that if I give the idea, I will look foolish. But let me tell you, all the creative persons in the world, all the great scientists, once appeared to be foolish. Think the example of Galileo. Initially we were saying the earth is plane, maybe rectangular or square. Galileo was the first person who said earth is round. At that time people were saying he is a fool. But with the invention of telescope, which he did later on, he could prove that earth is round. The person who was being called a foolish in the beginning proved to be a right person in the end. That's the reason I said sometimes a layman's idea, which may not be feasible today, may be the best idea in future. Allow your brain to give ideas in any direction. Don't weigh them at the beginning. Fearing mistakes and failure. Again the similar point. Trying something new often leads to failure. However, failure should not be seen as an end, but rather as a pit stops towards success. Thomas Edison, when he invented electric bulb, before inventing electric bulb, he had failed 100 times. Media persons reached that person, Thomas Edison, and asked him, How are you feeling after failing 100 times? Thomas Edison said, I have learnt 100 ways of not making an electric bulb. Means he also learnt something out of failure. He never took it a failure, he took it a step towards success. In any new process, in any new change, chances are that you may fail, you may pass. If you fail and you don't proceed ahead, things will finish at that point. But if you want to be really creative, you want to be a great scientist, you also learn from failure, as Edison did. He learnt 100 ways of not making an electric bulb. And after 100 ways, he could succeed and make an electric bulb. Believing that I am not creative. This is in most of our mind. We always believe I am not creative. This is not the right perspective. One who believes he is not creative will likely behave in the same way, thus making the belief a reality. Everyone has the potential to be creative. However, one must tap into that potential first. As I have told you, we are all having left and right brains. Thing is how much right brain we use. We all are creative to some extent. But we can increase creativity by using the right brain to the fullest extent, which we are not at all using. These are some of the barriers to creativity. Let me give you the creative process, how it happens. Any process starts with the idea, as I've told you. The first step in any creative process is preparation. Preparation of mind for creative thinking. This, as I've told you in the previous slides, formal education, work experience can give you the expertise to work in particular problem solving. The area in which you specialize, you have to take problem in that area and you have to prepare your mind for that problem. Second step is investigation. Develop a solid understanding of the problem or decision. Third is transformation. View similarities and differences in the information collected. This is based on analogies. Analogies is similarities with something available already. Maybe nature, maybe product, maybe process. Then incubation. Give the subconscious mind time to reflect on the information. Daydream, relax. Then it is illumination, the creation of an innovative idea, Eureka factor stage. Sixth step is verification, validation of the idea, means judgmental stage. And finally, the seventh step is implementation, transformation of the idea into reality. I am going to tell you two steps here, important step, incubation and illumination. Incubation is a very important period or a time in the creativity process. I will be giving you some example. Incubation means you are giving your mind a free time, a relaxed time, when you are not working on that idea at all, when you are not working on that problem at all. This requirement of time is very, very important. Unless you give your mind a relaxed atmosphere, free atmosphere, your mind cannot give the best results. Let me give you some examples here of the creative world. Morgan was a basically pharmacist. This is the old story. He was working on the design of blood pressure machine. He was working on this design for the last many months, but he could not succeed in that. He was so frustrated that he thought, let me relax for some time. He went for holidaying. When he was on holidaying and he was sleeping in his hotel room, the first rays of sun, when it reflected on his mind in the morning, the design of blood pressure machine immediately came in his mind. He got up, took up the pencil and paper and placed the design on that pencil and paper. Then went to his place and he could, after 6 months, design the blood pressure machine. Let me tell you important part here. Einstein always said, creativity is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. But 1% inspiration part is very, very important. The 1% inspiration part is generation of that idea. When idea is generated, you have to work on that idea, you have to perspire, you have to work hard. That part is 99%. But as I have said previously, 1% part is very, very important. Now illumination. As I've said, he got up and placed the design on paper and with pens and pencil. That is called the Eureka factor. Another example I am going to give here is of Archimedes. Archimedes gave the principle of buoyancy, you know. How he gave the principle of buoyancy, do you know? What happened? He was to find the volume of the crown of the king. He was to find the volume of the crown of the king. He was working on this problem. He was unable to find the volume. As you know, everybody takes bath daily. He also used to take bath daily. Whatever was happening, whenever he used to go to the bathing tub, water used to come out. This was happening daily. But one day what happened? When he went to the bathing tub, water came out. Immediately idea struck his mind. The volume of water displaced or the principle of buoyancy can be used for finding the volume of the crown. He used the same principle for finding the volume of the crown. Although the problem was different, to find the volume of the crown, but he gave the principle of buoyancy and used that principle of buoyancy for finding the volume of crown. This is the starting point. This illumination coming out of idea instantly is called the Eureka factor. Now, I am coming to the last part of my presentation. It is increasing personal creativity. There are some attributes or some tips which can be used for enhancing your creativity. First is ability to choose or balance attributes. Everybody is having mind which works in depth and breadth, focused and relaxed, smart and uncertain situations, disciplined and playful, realistic and imaginative, introverted and extroverted situation, humble and proud, traditional and rebellious, objective and passionate, painful and player. These are the stages or different situations in the mind. Important thing is how to balance those. If you are able to balance the attributes of your mind, you are able to generate more creativity. Means balancing of your left and right brain use, balancing of your conscious and subconscious mind, and adjusting those things to the environment in which you are to work. Means balancing the attributes of your mind leads to the development of creativity. What is required at one time? At one time you are needing a divergent thinking, the other time you are needing a convergent thinking. If you are able to balance that thought process, you will be generating more creativity. Then practice making unusual and unexpected mental associations. This is also called analogies. Practice making associations with the things available in the world, products, processes. If you are able to make association with those, you are able to generate more creativity. I will be giving you some examples here also. Let me give the example. Do you know how these chips, potato chips, are being packed in the polypacks or tetra packs? How this design came? This was initiated by Pringle. What happened? This was a problem given to one company to pack dry chips in the polypacks. The problem was whenever the chips were being packed in the polypacks, those used to break. टूट जाते थे. The problem was how to pack them in the polypack or the tetra pack. Then the scientists or the experts started working with analogies in mind. When they were working on the idea, they found Similar pattern is available in nature. When you go to jungle, have you seen there are dried leaves falling down, which have fallen down already? When you walk on those leaves, although those are dry leaves, even then they don't break. They don't get crushed. Reason is what? They are little bit moist. From this, the idea came to the experts. What they now do is, they pack the chips moist and then bring out the air through vacuum and create vacuum inside. You must have seen the Tetra Paks. This is the process. This small company sold this idea to Pringle, which the Pringle came out with the then polypacks filled with these chips, potato chips. And this company sold the idea with a big bargain. Let me tell you. Another analogy I can give you. In America, there are big fields, big lands available. When we are growing seeds, when we are growing plants, we have to maintain a proper gap between the seeds if you want that these seeds should grow and become big trees, 12 trees. We need to maintain a proper gap between these. Now these fields are very big. We have to sow seeds at equidistant. This is the problem. How to do it? We cannot measure distance every time. The scientists again started working in this. The analogy or the similarity was available in the belt of machine gun. What is there? Bullets are spaced at a proper distance in the machine gun. This idea was put into practice. The scientists developed a biodegradable belt, placed the seeds at proper distance and placed it in the soil. The belt was biodegradable, so it got disposed of and the seeds grow into big trees. This is another analogy. So make associations with the things available in the market. Let me give you the example of Punjab, very close. There is a village in Punjab. You have washing machines, old washing machines in your place. Everybody is having old washing machine. Washing machine is used for washing clothes. But this village was having a great number of cattle for dairy purposes. They were to churn milk daily. They were having old washing machines which are not being used after some time because they have bought a new automatic machines. They use these old machines for churning milk. So this is another example which can be used. So make mental associations with the unusual things which are available in nature. This enhances your creativity. This Albert Gorzi has said, discovery consists of seeing what everybody else has seen and thinking what nobody has thought. Think differently, which others have not thought. Another scientist, Arthur Koestler, has said, creativity doesn't create something out of nothing, but rather recombines ideas that already separately existed. I have given you the example of nature in terms of leaves, then machine gun bullets. These are some of the examples. These experiences were already existing in nature, but they made mental association with those. The third point is acquire information in many areas. If you want to grow, if you want to be a creative person, acquire information not only in your area of work, not only in your discipline. Because in discipline you are working in depth only. You are thinking linearly. You are not thinking laterally. If you want to grow, you have to think laterally. Laterally can be thought by experiencing or working in different areas. Maybe art, maybe architecture, maybe any other area, maybe music. As I have given in the slide, major and general education, major is talking of depth of knowledge, and general education, specific education directed toward developing your general skills of thinking and learning. I am talking of breadth of study. Increase your breadth of study. This can be done by going to different places, seeing the art and architecture, seeing different monuments, seeing different paintings. This will enhance your thinking process. This will enhance your process to think in different directions. These are very important for enhancing your creativity. The ultimate outcome of this is read widely and avidly. If you are to grow, work in different directions rather than working in depth only. Another important perspective is develop skills, work hard, be passionate about your work. Skills in terms of what? Skills are creativity skills I am talking. Those creativity skills are generating more and more alternatives, not being judgmental at the instance, enhancing your divergent skill or thinking, enhancing your lateral thinking. These are the skills you are to develop. Another scientist, Benjamin Franklin, has said, diligence is the mother of good luck. If you have the skills, you have to work hard to make a product or a process of those skills. As I've said, innovation or creativity is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. If you have developed the ideas, you have to work hard on those ideas. You have to perspire before reaching any goal. Diligence is the mother of good luck, as I've said. It also means that hard work is the key to success, or God help those who help themselves. Luck also favors the fortune. So, even if you have the good ideas, you have the creativity skills, you have to work hard on those skills. You have to, after generation of ideas. Be confident. This is very important. As I've said, one of the barriers was LKK, log kya kahenge factor. We are scared of people. We are scared of failure. If we are to be creative, we have to remove this barrier of LKK. And that can be done by only being confident. Confident of what you are doing. Accept that creativity is not something that we learn. It's something that we have forgotten, but we can learn, relearn. Creativity is in everybody. The thing is how much creative use you make of your mind. We can learn this. We can relearn this. It is available with you. Let me give you one thing more. The best age for creativity is basically the formative age up to 5 or 7. That is the best age for creativity. With the growing age, definitely the creativity comes down, level of creativity comes down. But it doesn't mean that you can enhance it. If you will not work in that direction, definitely it will come down. But if you know that you have to enhance it, you can work in that direction. It is generally said the level of creativity at the age of 40 is just 5% of what it was at the age of 7 or 5. Means you have already lost 90%, 95% creativity by the age you reach 40. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. This was given by Albert Einstein. In his words, failure is just a step towards success. You must learn something from failure also. As I have given you the example of Thomas Edison. Again, being confident, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Be able to assert a new concept. Become familiar with many areas of civilization. Look at the unknown. Focus on what you love to do. Seek help in weak areas. Be prepared for criticism. Whenever you are doing something new, people will criticize you. You should be prepared for that criticism. This was given by George Bernard Shaw. The reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable man persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man, not on the reasonable man. Let me again give you another example here. When Wright brothers, who invented aeroplane, they were working on the idea. They have developed a model of it. They told people that we are going to fly it in air now. At that time, people were saying it cannot fly. They were sure it cannot fly. But when we worked on it, it flew. When it was flying, people started saying it will never come down. They never bothered for it. It also came down. So people will criticize you on whatever you will do. Don't bother about people. Because criticism is the part of any human nature. This is their part of attitude. They will always criticize anything, whatever you are doing. Be prepared for criticism. Then, last, move away from the normal environment, including use of creativity tools. What it is? These tools are role playing, use analogies, free association or brainstorming, ask what if you weren't afraid to failing, turn on music or walk, use of 6 thinking hats given by Edward de Bono. These are some of the ways in which you can move away from the normal environment and use your brain for the creative purposes. Be perceptive. Use your perception. This is also very important. Rely on your intuition, imagination and impetuousness. Envision the consequences. Mozart and Michelangelo. Do you know Michelangelo? The great painter, the great artist. He has dwelt priceless paintings. Priceless paintings. The work he did, the research on that work is still going on. What type of material he used in his paintings. What he is trying to show in his paintings, the research is still going on. The Leonardo da Vinci. Because they had the vision, they wanted to achieve something. They were being called as fools at one point of time. Take the case of our M.F. Hussain. You must have seen him. From his appearance, what does he look? He looks like an insane. But he has vision. He is working on his vision. People criticize him. He is not bothered. So, if you are working on some project, if you are creative, people may say many things to you. But be prepared with what you are doing. Keep on doing it. Don't bother about criticism. Be confident. Perception precedes reason and logic. Recognize mistakes. Slow down, look at the big picture. When you are having some mistakes, slow down a little bit, think on it, improve upon it, because you are thinking in terms of the big goal. I am now applying these tips to the creativity process I have given it to you in the previous slides. Preparation, first step is prepare the mind. This can be done. Adopt the attitude of lifelong learning. If you don't have the attitude of lifelong learning, you can never be a great creator. Read more. Discuss ideas with others. Investigation. Study information related to the field that the idea is in. Transformation. Observe similarities and differences in the information collected. Evaluate the parts of the situation several times. Rearrange the elements of the situation. Incubation. Give some conscious time to reflect on the information collected. Walk away with the situation. Take the time, daydream, relax. Then fifth point, illumination, eureka factor moment. This moment will come randomly. Just be ready to act on it when it comes. Whenever it is coming, have the paper and pencil and place it on record. Verification, validate that the idea is accurate and useful. Conduct experiment, run simulation and tests, build prototypes. Implementation, make the idea become a reality. Take your product to the stage. Don't get caught up in the planning stage. What happens? We keep on planning but unable to implement. We have to take our idea to the implementation stage. We should be so prepared for it because that requires perspiration. Idea may be initial part, perspiration is the last part. The key to successful creative thinking is to maintain or enact some why nots throughout your life. This is the key to success. You have to maintain some why nots. Very, very important. This was something about creativity. I will be taking 2 slides on innovation. Just as energy is the basis of life itself and ideas are the source of innovation, so is the innovation vital spark of all human change, improvement and progress. As I've told you in the previous slide, innovation is commercialization of your creativity. Innovation consists of 3 C's: creativity, consistency for perspiration, and commercialization. Bring that idea to commercial stage so that it is financially viable, which is for the benefit of the society, which is having some social value, which is having some utilization. If we are to enhance innovation in any organization, the parameters, important parameters are, it should have resources, all the type of resources: physical, information, financial, all type, money, manpower, all these resources, management practices conducive for the innovation, and organizational motivation, which is very, very important. Organizational motivation means commitment of top management leadership. These are organizational motivation. What does it convey? The basic orientation of the organization toward innovation, shared vision, because when we are having the innovative culture, innovative environment, unless we have the shared vision, all are thinking in one direction, from the lowermost to topmost, we cannot have the innovation culture. Providing rewards and recognition, lack of internal politics, lack of overemphasis on status quo, means diverging from the status quo, diverging from the rules and regulations. This is very important. Then resources, everything the organization has available to aid in the area targeted for innovation, including time, funding, information, and materials. And finally, management practices, allowing freedom and autonomy in the practice of work, because free mind, as I've told you, is the creative mind. I have also given you an example. Mind works only when it is open. It is just like a parachute. Providing challenging, specifying clear strategic goals, and forming work teams comprised of individuals with diverse skills and perspectives. If we are able to generate this environment in which innovation and creativity can perceive, the environment in which we are committed to provide resources, the environment which is very conducive in terms of motivation of individuals, the environment which is having management practices which gives autonomy to individual, these type of working environment results in enhancement of creativity of an individual, and the enhancement of creativity, the cumulative effect of which is the enhancement of innovation culture of any organization. This is in all what I wanted to convey you in this presentation. Any questions, any queries, anything?